But I've known so many talented people who just couldn't get that break, just couldn't get that one thing.
I have a quote here for you.
Great.
Passion, not pedigree, will win in the end. And this is from none other than Jon Bon Jovi.
Oh, one of my favorites.
And I might have had a few of his posters on my wall myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You know, I feel like, well, us in the movie industry, we love an underdog story, right? But I feel like it's certainly where I come from. Like, you know, I'm not one of these people that has like a real chip on their shoulder about the Nepo babies or anything like that. You know, I feel like everybody's got a path into this business, and it is what it is. But that is the exact reason I love Bon Jovi, is because the idea that a poor kid from Bossier City, Louisiana can, you know, move out to LA and get to do what I get to do is definitely an underdog story to me. And I love the idea of, you know, passion and discipline and doing all the things that you need to do to be good at this job, and to get this job will get you there. It also takes a very, very healthy amount of luck, because I wish that it was just about how much you work or how much you put into it. It's not really, you know. I think it's, somebody said something about, you know, the more prepared you are, the luckier you get. That's absolutely true, but I've known so many talented people who just couldn't get that break, just couldn't get that one thing that legitimized them in the eyes of somebody else. And then that person gives you a job, and then, you know, then you're legitimized in the eyes of 3 other people or 5 other people, and it just, your circle keeps expanding until you are considered real by enough people that you work, right? When I was 17, I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, Bossier City, Louisiana, and I would drive to Dallas 3 hours to audition for stuff. My mom would drive me. So I was 15, and she drove me to Dallas, and I auditioned for this thing, and the guy liked me and called me back. So I drove back to Louisiana. 2 days later, I drive back to Dallas. We do this callback. I have no idea what this thing is. None. You know, it's like I'm in the callback, I'm matched with somebody who I assumed that she had the part. And so we're supposed to be drowning or something, and we're screaming and yelling. And anyways, and we go back, you know, we're back in the hotel or whatever. And my agent calls and says, we can't send that to NBC. Like, we need you to do it again. And I'm like, they said, we felt you were matching the energy off of the girl you were playing against, but she wasn't doing a good job, so you didn't do a good job. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm the lead guy? I'm the guy that you're thinking about, not her? Like, okay, sure. So I did another audition, and I booked this movie where they flew me and my mom to Australia, and I was the only actor who was actually under 18. I was the only actor who was not from Los Angeles. Everyone else in the show was on a major TV show on the network. I have no idea why I booked that job. I have no idea why the director went to any lengths at all to get a 16-year-old kid from Bossier City, Louisiana, in a movie where I played opposite Vinny from Blossom, you know, and this actress from Empty Nest, and, you know, all of these people that were on TV at the time. It's such an enormous risk to take somebody who has never done this before and then put them in scenes with professionals. Like, it's hard. That's a big risk. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And because of that, I got that Western. So the only reason I got the Western is because I had more work experience than the other guys they were looking at. That's it. So then I had 2 movies, and then, like, that's how I was able to, you know, step in front of a lot of talented, great young actors who didn't quite have their SAG card, who didn't quite have, you know, a body of work behind them. And so I don't know why that happened. I'm thankful for it every day. I never forget that that's the whole reason that I'm probably still doing this. Because if I hadn't have gotten that chance in Dallas when I was still in high school, I probably would have taken a different path of like, well, I'll go to college, maybe I'll study theater in college and da-da-da, and then I'll be 23, 24 by the time I get out, and then I don't have a union card or a resume or anything like that. But I've done Hamlet on the college stage, you know what I mean? Anyways, I just know so many talented people that have not gotten that lotto ticket, who just struggled just to get into the union when they got it here. And but I do think, I think it's a gift, and I'm thankful for it, and so I work hard, and I don't complain too much about the things that I have to do, because I do feel like that luck is such a big part of it.
And I see that in the comments that we get about Nepo babies, and I had to look that up because that wasn't a term that I knew for a long time. But and having grown up around a lot of wealth, even though I grew up poor as well, that route isn't always that easy. There's different pressures on people.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah, a lot of different things.
I mean, it's difficult to really get on the, I'm not going to die on that hill, you know what I mean? But I mean, come on, man. It's like everybody's dealt their hand. It's
sure.
like whatever. Everybody's dealt a hand. I like a lot of those actors that are getting criticized right now because of being able to step in because of their parents or whatever. There's some really talented people that I go and watch their movies because I like them.
Sure.
So I'm not mad about it. Do what they want. Just don't act like it's not a thing. It's really the only thing I think people want. People just want an acknowledgement of just like I said, how lucky I am to have gotten that job, when nobody knew me, nobody had a reason to give it to me. Just a little humbleness about the situation. Sometimes you get the aces and sometimes you don't. And if you get the aces, you better be thankful for it.
Sure, I like what you said. Just try to acknowledge that it does exist. But I also see in the comments that people are upset over not having enough money to make a film or have the money to go to film school.
Right.
But I think you can still do something.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tougher road, and you can still get your SAG card working extra work.
Yeah.
And they feed you, and you get paid a small amount. So things can happen, even if you can go to community college for a couple years and then try to transfer. I mean, it's not.
I think absolutely. And I will say this. I think the biggest cop-out is saying, I don't have enough money to make a movie, and I don't have enough money to go to film school, because every town, in every city, in every state in this country, there is some nerd who's got a little camera who wants to make his movie and is looking for people to do it for free. Just come and help me make this movie. And you can be that nerd, if you can afford to buy a camera. But guess what? If you have a phone, you've got a camera, right? The idea that you can't make a movie unless it's your opus is ridiculous. And I do feel like a lot of people have that idea of I'm not going to compromise my vision. It's 2001. It's going to cost $8 billion. I'm like, great, fantastic. But so save it. But you can still be working. You can still be honing your craft. You can work, as a grip, as a gaffer, as a sound person, on shorts and in features. I've done features where I'm so desperate to find a body, that I'm letting people who have never done this be the first assistant camera person. They can stand right next to the guy who does this for a living and learn, right? And usually get paid something. There's so many different ways in order to work. And even in the acting field, which is incredibly competitive, but I know so many young people who get out here and they go on backstage, they look for the short films, and every third one is a nightmare. And then the other two are great. It's like going out, putting yourself out there. Any other city in the country has theater that you can do all over the place. I think theater is freaking fantastic. And I mean, LA is a very strange town for theater. There are great theaters here. They're just few and far between because there's a struggle between the equity and the non-equity, blah, blah, blah. I've done great theater in LA. It's not I've done great. I've done fine, but I've worked with great theaters in the LA area, and it's like, you know what? You go and do that, and then you meet the other actors, and then you have a tribe, then you have a group, and maybe they have agents, but maybe they have other projects. It's like the idea that, I can't, but Ron Howard's daughter can. It's totally unfair. It's like, well, there's a lot of disconnect between that and that. You know what I mean? I don't know, I have a lot to say about it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I see that come up a lot for people. And having grown up, with a single mom and not have money for college, I was in a similar boat. So I can understand them being frustrated, but at the same time, we're in a different era where, yes, you can make something very easily. You can edit yourself. That wasn't available when I was looking through the Sears catalog and I saw that movie camera that I wanted to get.
Right. Right. I mean, that's another thing about the luck aspect of it being such an important thing, is that the timing of my career, it couldn't have happened any time before. Like if I had graduated in 85 instead of 95, then I wouldn't have had the opportunities to make short films and stuff that of a quality, like the first the first 3 films that I made weren't even in HD. They were, DV cam, but that was the highest tech that you could get at the time for a price, and the platforms, the networks and whatnot were okay with it, right? It was a very tiny window between film and HD, and like right in here are these little DV cameras, and that was what I could afford to do. That's how I figured out how to raise money for that and make that. But here or here, and like that doesn't fall for me the way that it did. So yeah, it's a thing. Luck and timing are so much a part of it. All you can do is just be prepared, to take the ball when you get the opportunity to catch it.